Hello, everyone. We're just waiting to bring some folks in who are joining us by Zoom. We'll be able to start momentarily. I'm hoping everyone can hear me okay. I see Noel from Tay Valley looks like they're maybe having connection issues. Oh, there. Noel, can you hear us? Can we hear you? You're muted right now.
No.
Is there anyone on Zoom who can confirm that they can hear us? Stephen, can you hear us?
Loud and clear.
Okay. So Noel, are you?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Good. All right. Are we ready to go? Okay. All right. Technology is underway. I'll call the meeting to order.
Okay. I'd like to call the meeting of the Land Division Committee for March 18th, 2025 to order. Three members are present. James is here in person. I'm Jim McIntosh. And from the lovely, I'm not sure which state he's in, but Stephen Lewis from down south somewhere. Does any of the members have any disclosures of pecuniary interests? Stephen?
Nope. All good.
None for me.
And none for myself. I have a motion that's moved by Doug James that the minutes of the Land Division Committee meeting held on December 10th, 2024 be approved as circulated. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. The next motion, also moved by Doug, because he's the only one here to move them, so was that the agenda be adopted as presented. Any additions to the agenda, Cindy?
No, there's not.
Okay. All in favor? Doug and Stephen in favor?
In favor.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move along to our delegations. So Cindy, you want to introduce the first one, please?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the first set of applications are for B24-151 and B24-152 for the Biddles. This is for the creation of 2 new lots in Mississippi Mills. The total size of the property is just over 13 hectares, and the proposal is for 2 lots of approximately equal size, 2.3 hectares, residential land holding off of Scotch Corners Road and McCann Road and Cedar Way. It's kind of the intersection of three roads. It says right at the boundary of Mississippi Mills and Beckwith, so those roads are considered boundary roads. So the new lots, as I mentioned, are proposed to be 2.3 hectares in area, a frontage of 171.2 meters and 137.5 meters. There is an area of Cedar Way which is not maintained by Beckwith Township. However, the frontage for that second lot and the entrance proposed is within the maintained portion. The retained lands will have 200 meters of water frontage on the Mississippi Lake. The official plan designations have rural, floodplain, provincially significant wetlands. However, the provincially significant wetlands and floodplains are all on the retained lands, and there's ample development opportunity on the retained lands outside of those hazard areas. The zoning is, again, rural, environmental hazard, and environmental protection. However, the 2 lots are proposed within the rural zone, and there's, again, ample opportunity in the rural zone outside of the hazard areas for development. So there's been no previous consents. The Mississippi Valley did recommend some mitigation measures for the retained lands, but we're in favor of the applications. The application came to Land Division due to some public comments that we received, and we weren't sure whether those comments and concerns had been addressed appropriately, so we did bring it to Land Division to have that opportunity. We are recommending approval of the application subject to the conditions that are set out in the planning report.
Thank you, Cindy. So, do we have people here that are interested in this application? I assume we have at least one. Yep. And could you state your name for our record, please?
Joey Biddle.
Thank you, Joey. Is there anybody attending by Zoom? So you're it. Is there any additional information that you'd like to provide the committee? We've all been through the report. You should have got a copy of it as well, but if you want to provide any additional information, now's your opportunity.
I don't think so. I think everything's there. Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward to me. Do any of the committee members have any questions?
Just one, it's probably just a typo. in the staff report.
Oh,
It's mentioning 135,
yes,
B24, 135, and B24, 136.
you're correct. That's actually the Cameron's
The next one.
application. So it's B 151 and 152. And I'm
I
just
think it's
going to
just a
make
typo.
sure that
So it is.
there-
Everything else is fine.
everything else is fine. So yes, thank you for putting that out.
There was one spot where I had your name on it, Cameron on it at one spot.
Oh, goodness.
That's not that that's probably just a
Oh,
typo.
my
but it's
apologies.
Okay. I didn't pick that up. Okay.
Stephen, any comments that you have or questions that you may have?
No, straightforward on this one. Thank you.
What about on the lake is this?
So Kinch Bay, so I always tell people right across from Dockmaster off of Scotch Corners Road.
Oh, okay.
Everybody considers it Beckwith, to be honest, like where it's located, but essentially, I'm not great on the lake by any means, but right across from Dockmaster on the left. So
I used to live on the lake at one point in time, so that's why I was curious. Or adjacent to the lake, actually, Humans Bay, that's that area. That end. Mud Lake, it's called Brooklyn.
yeah, okay.
Anyway.
Yep.
Here or there. So if there's no further questions, I have an application that's moved by Doug, that applications B24-151 and B24-152 be approved subject to the conditions presented in the planning report. Any further discussion? Not, all in favor? Stephen?
I'm in favor, yes.
Okay, so that's carried. So it's been approved, so you'll get notified by email and the normal process, but it's 2 years, I think you have now to get everything done, but I suggest you get at it sooner than that.
Yep.
Sometimes these take a while, right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in.
If I may, Mr. Chair, can I just ask a question on that? Something I found out lately. I'm not sure if it's accurate or not. Maybe you guys know. The applicant has 2 years to get the conditions all in, correctly? And how long after that does the lawyer have another 2 years or 1 year to get it registered?
They have 2 years. Yeah, they have 2 years to register after the conditions have been met from when we stamp the schedule.
So it's basically 4 years before an applicant can actually get a tax bill. Am I correct?
Potentially, yes.
Potential.
We
Okay.
don't recommend that you wait that long, just in case there's issues, but yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Is this a method of deferring taxes, Stephen? Is that what you're?
It's just another tariff thing, you know.
We're not going there, you're down south. Okay. All right, Cindy, you want to introduce the next one, sir?
Okay. So the next set of applications is for Avery Shirley Cameron and Tate Mary Cameron, and Scott Cameron is here as agent or applicant and agent. These are for 2 new lots in North Burgess, Tay Valley Township, and these lots will have frontage on Adams Lake. The lots will have 123, 121, 108 meters of water frontage on the lake, so far exceeding the zoning bylaw minimum. The first lot is 1.3 hectares, second lot is 1.4 hectares, and the retained lands is approximately 1.6 hectares. And these are accessed off of Brooks Corners Road, which is the private right-of-way, which links up to Winton Lane and then Rideau Lake Road. So the applicants had previously applied for a lot addition to add a sliver of land from the Whitten family to provide enough frontage for the retained lands to have access on the right-of-way. That has been approved and stamped, and you're just waiting, I believe, for the registration of that on title. So that does have to be completed first before we can complete the other 2 applications, but they're very close to having that done. There was an environmental impact study done in support of the application. There's a lot of history, and the reason why it's being brought to Land Division is there's a lot of questions and concerns raised from members around the lake regarding whether or not the application met the requirements under the township official plan. There had been some historical concern with respect to environmental issues for Adams Lake. The township, and I've outlined it in the report. There's also a slide. I don't know if you can go to the next slide here. That goes through the history of the various planning tools that Tay Valley undertook to ensure that the recommendations from the original reports and studies were followed. There was some interim control bylaws to restrict development on the lake until those controls were in place. Ultimately, in 2019, Tay Valley passed an official plan amendment number 6, and that set out the specific policies that allowed for limited development on the lake. And those included that the policies indicated that creation by consent was allowed, but any new lots had to be a minimum of 0.8 hectares. These lots do meet that requirement. So all of the policies that were adopted in 2019 were carried forward into the new official plan that Tay Valley just approved last year. So those policies are what's governing this application, and it is the planning opinion that those lots meet the policies set out in the official plan. So it is considered the rural designation in both the county and the local official plans. As I mentioned before, the minimum lot area of 0.8 hectares is met. The minimum setback for septic systems of 30 meters from the lake. They've demonstrated that that is possible with the size of these lots, and that there's sufficient lands outside the 30-meter setback for the building and septic envelopes. One of the conditions will be a development agreement that will be registered on title to outline the development constraints on the lot, and that will dictate where certain things need to be located and so on and so forth. There will be a need to rezone the properties to limited services due to the fact that it's private access as opposed to public road. Other than that, there's been no previous severances on this property, so it meets the severance provisions. And the Conservation Authority did initially have some concerns with respect to the application. However, after additional information was provided, they have confirmed that they're satisfied with respect to the development and the development tools that we will have on the lots. So we are recommending that we approve these applications subject to the conditions set out in the planning report.
Thanks, Cindy. So who all have we got today that wishes to participate in this part of the hearing? Scott, obviously?
Yep. Scott and my wife Lynn.
Okay, and you're both going to
Or no, just me.
Just
Trying to keep me in line.
I'm here listening just to see what's going on. I'm just interested.
So you're not interested in making any kind of presentation or anything? No. Okay. Is there anybody attending on Zoom that would be interested in doing a presentation to us?
So I see that there's a Goulet who just unmuted, but is there anybody online who wishes to speak? If they can unmute and let us know.
Okay, well, hearing none.
Okay.
I'm going to get you to affirm, Scott. So do you solemnly affirm that any evidence given by you in these proceedings shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. So as I've mentioned before, we've received the report, we've reviewed the report. If there's an interesting planning history here on it, I understand you've been at this for a while now.
Yeah.
We spoke a few years ago,
Yes.
actually. But anyway, having said all that, is there any additional information that you'd like to provide the committee?
Just the fact that there is quite a bit of history on this. It started back in 2011, I think, when the concerns of phosphorus in the lake triggered this whole study. Now has been incorporated into the official plan. So when the girls first found the property in 2019, we went to the township and said, what's the possibility of this happening? How is this going to unfold? There were still some irons in the fire as far as getting the official plan in place. We're now getting, like, that's I think all behind us now. So basically we've had to do jump over some hurdles. There was the PA study, there was purchasing of an on-open road allowance, there's public meetings. We've gone through everything. We've done everything that the township has requested of us. And I'm just saying it's been a long, drawn out affair, but if there's any concerns that you have any questions of me, I think Cindy certainly has done an excellent job in covering all the aspects in the report. So. we're just looking forward to building a couple modest sized homes in there, cottages, if anything. Not any big monstrosity of a house or anything like that's going to take place, but we'll build with the land. And kids, we've grown up in a very small house. We don't need anything bigger. So if the concerns of the Adams Lake people are the impact that we're going to have on the lake, I think we've met all the requirements.
Okay, thank you. Any members have any questions? Doug?
No, only when we come to the options.
Stephen, any questions initially?
No, just on the conditions, I've got one.
Okay, so Scott, you've reviewed all the conditions and everything's acceptable to you?
Yeah, the site plan control, rezoning, I've got the application here. If everything goes well, we'll submit that and follow through with everything else. Yeah.
I think I was just concerned about the docking. Like,
So you'll have to state your name and we'll get you sworn in. That's okay. So your name?
Barry Murphy.
And do you solemnly affirm that the evidence to be given by you in these proceedings shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Just a little formality that we need to go through, so.
No, I was concerned about the docking, and I know a little familiar with the property from the lake side. And I've been down in that area a couple of times through work. But is there space to put docking in, or do you have to go stick docks out through the cattails, or what is the plan?
Yeah, it's very shallow in there, so I'm not sure what the bottom would be like, but there's no intent for us to put cribbing in. Right now, we've got some temporary floating docks that are there now. I think over time we'll improve on that, but yeah, the cattails are past our property, so that's the McMunn's land.
Yes.
So where the cattails stop is basically where the girl's property starts. So
No plan on doing any dredging to get more.
no, but we're certainly going to pull a bunch of garbage out of there. I'll tell you that. There's 6 or 7 tires there. There's ladders from people's docks. There's barrels. There's all kinds of shit down there.
That's
Like,
where it ends up.
yeah. So we'll be cleaning that up.
So our committee has no authority in relation to dock feature dredging, and there are permitting requirements to Parks Canada, particularly when it's on the waterway system. So you have no authority over that type of thing anyway, Barry, just so you know. But not trying to stop the exchange of information. So moving on to the conditions, Doug, do you have any questions on those?
Yes, the development agreement 12A refers to the comments from the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority. Do we need to get similarly from the township in condition number 16? Do we need to get some sort of approval from the RVCA with respect to that concern of theirs that is referred to in 12A?
Cindy, I'll let you try to answer that one.
So that was the recommendations and from the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority. You're probably right. To be safe, we can add in the requirement for Rideau Valley to clear that condition.
Was that the slope stabilization?
I have to go back. Just give me a second to go back to the.
It
says to identify.
They
developable.
commented in the environmental impact statement they wanted adherence to what Hans van Rosen had said in his impact statement, and so
Yeah, so we did meet, I did meet with the representative of RVCA. Because it was so close to the significant wetland, the topography changes quite abruptly as it comes to shore. So they were concerned there may have been some marsh or wetlands on the property because it was in that 120 meter buffer zone, which now is reduced to 30, which may or may not. Anyway, we went through the study. I'm glad we did. But their concern was there may have been a pocket of mud or something that we couldn't develop on. So I met on site with the representative, and it's very rocky. So there wasn't much concern with slope stability, and that was part of his concern.
Hans van Rosen just made comments and suggestions in his impact statement, and the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority agreed with them. And so I'm just wondering whether Rideau Valley needs to comment that they were satisfied.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
going back to, sorry to interrupt, going back to Dan's email where after he looked at the additional information, he had indicated that they have no further concerns, and they reviewed the additional materials, so satisfied that the development envelope areas have a low likelihood of organic unstable soils. So I don't believe that they need to necessarily sign off on the development agreement because they were satisfied with the information that they had done previously. If, you know, the excess of caution, if you do want, we can add that in, but I do believe Rideau Valley charges a fee to provide a clearance letter, so that would be just another hoop to jump through, but
I think the follow-up email from the Conservation Authority provides clearance that
Clear
is
it as long
necessary,
as,
so I'm happy with the way the conditions are.
good, okay. I'm happy with, if there's an extra fee from our VCA, I withdraw my comment. I always want to make sure that the applicants are not paying.
I think the township would typically ensure that the Conservation Authority is on board anyway through their normal clearance, so.
and they will get a copy of the decision if they want to, you know, if they're concerned with that, we can always amend the condition as a minor change and add that in after the
Good,
fact. And,
okay.
yeah,
Good,
certainly wouldn't get to an appeal situation over that for sure.
good.
Stephen, any questions or comments on the conditions?
Just another one on 12B. Has the applicant been in contact with Parks Canada or the Rideau Canal office in any way yet? How's that going? Or have we started that?
So I don't know if you've reached out to Parks Canada at all.
No,
At this
were
point,
were they circulated?
So we do, yeah, we do circulate them, and they did provide the comments in terms of they're very standard comments with respect to Parks Canada. So I think that would be, again, when Noel does up the development agreement, their requirements will be incorporated in there, but they don't need to provide a clearance. Oh, they do,
They
yes,
do.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, just to be satisfied that those are in the development.
You see where I'm going with that? We talked a little bit about docks and shorelines. 12C addresses that pretty clearly. In my mind, you've got to get approval to do anything there. Just a comment and a heads up.
Yeah, no, I've dealt extensively with Parks Canada. I was part of the public dock approval at Rideau Ferry. Spent years crossing the table from those guys, so I know what I'm up against there.
Okay, thank you.
So there is a requirement, Scott, for you to get an approval letter from them on here.
Okay.
You're aware of that?
All of those four.
Yes.
And you agree to that?
Yep.
All right. Anything further, Stephen?
Nope, I'm very happy that a lot of there, and I can understand a bit of confusion, Lake Association and the township, but I think it's all going to work out.
Doug?
No, nothing further.
And anything further from anyone else here?
Just a personal comment is, I've grown up on the Rideau and Adams Lake. I've been in there since the 60s. Used to play with the Tully family and water ski and fish, and we certainly don't want to create a problem up at Adams Lake. We love it up there. We wouldn't be doing this to deteriorate from the life that's up there, lifestyle that's up there, and I'm familiar with it, so is my family, so we'll respect that.
Okay, thank you. So if there's nothing else, I have a motion that's moved by Doug James, that application B24-135 and B24-136 be approved subject to the conditions presented in the planning report. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Good.
Favor.
Motion's carried. So you'll get notified of our decision shortly, and
It's a 20-day appeal period.
Yes.
it's a 20-day appeal.
You'll get the notice of decision either today or tomorrow by email. So you
Okay.
can do it yourself. We'll take out the extra camera and.
And in relation to the appeal, there's a limited group of people that can appeal.
That's right.
They're
Yes.
very much limited, so
Yes.
that the public doesn't have necessarily a standard right of appeal. It's only Aboriginal groups and utility companies, Parks Canada, yourself.
Yeah.
So, the Lake Association isn't afforded that.
Correct.
Everyone's aware, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, we're good to leave?
Good to go,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Where you golfing, Gary? Leonard? Timber Run?
How about you?
Yeah, Timber Run. I think we're going up this afternoon and put in an application.
Because I hope you're not gonna try to golf this afternoon. You're really keen. Oh, they're always up.
With the snowbank, I lost golf balls. Only good keepers. You never lose one on the pond. They bounce off.
Okay, so do we have any third applications that we are bringing up?
No other applications?
So what happened with the white application?
He, I asked him, he, probably in April, he's still working with, MTO. So I think he wanted to be a little bit further
Okay.
in his negotiations.
Okay.
So, yeah, there likely will be at least one other application for April as well.
So we will have a new.
I would say 90%, yes, we will have, an April meeting, and it's gonna come up quick because this one was later, so it's April 8th, I think. Yeah, so we'll be getting that agenda.
Anything else under the rest of our items here, I guess?
No, nothing for
think
me.
there is. Okay. So, I have a motion that the meeting does now adjourn at, I'm gonna put 10:30 a.m.
Okay.